Good afternoon, traders. This is a quick markets in review for the upcoming week and a brief little look at how things have played out actually for quite a while. Um, Once again, the markets have basically and or the walls have kind of caved in. And the signs are on the wall. We're riding basically around the wall throughout most of the last week and in the previous week, and the pricing just was getting really choppy. And you can see the frustration and the struggles at the extremes, but they did have a hard time getting through the MAs, and that's going to happen. It's kind of the last ditch effort to hold on to these rally, which has basically been brutally out of control to the upside. This is a market that has basically been priced to perfection, and I think we all know that it's just not a perfect world. It doesn't just go straight up. And, there's going to be retracements of markets are going to adjust and reprice, and that's just all you're getting is a healthy correction here. Once again, it all stems from the failure right in here at these moving averages, which I constantly emphasize in your trading if they come into play in terms of price. It's not always going to be around it, as is the case much of here. But you can just see, and you can just see this trend broke structure right here. And this is coming all the way from down here where this thing took off of from 41.55. And that was the breakout number that eventually sprung this rally to begin with. So that says a lot. And that was the beginning of the breakdown. And then the confirmation came last week when we just couldn't get back over the 50. We failed at it and we rolled. And then the process began. Was the panic going to start hitting? And we got under 4,500. We finally filled that gap down to 44.70 where the 50 was lying. And that was the next big play. And we couldn't get through the 50. Once we punched through that, that was it. People are starting to just panic and roll out. We're under 4,400. It's going to be really interesting how it plays out. Um, this area down here is probably fairly significant. I gotta believe most likely we're going to come down to this 100. That is where the 100 MA is. That's close to the gap fill, which is a little further down. I'm sure they'll add on if the panic should push it further. If in fact we get there, I gotta believe that's at least gotta be the initial target. Whether we get to two is a whole different game. But once again, gap 4350, 4300, that is bound to come fill. I always talk about it in past videos. I'll continue to talk about it. I'm just surprised that we never got those retracements back down to it. Like, for example, when you had this huge run up here, and that was basically a front running of a number. Number came out, wasn't what they wanted. Zambo backed it all the way back down to here. I was kind of surprised they didn't just come back down and fill this gap and then rebuild. I mean, they could have even came all the way down to here to the support. They didn't even come close. They stopped at the MAs and back. The bull market resumed. Once again, double topped, retraced, back up. A lot of these rallies have been very hard to trade. They've just been gapping higher, going higher. It's a really difficult trade. And there's days I didn't take anything because that's not how I trade. I tend to fade the extremes and challenge the markets. I can tell when it's not worthy, and I'm just, sometimes the best trade is no trade. But let's take a quick look here. And I'm going to minimize this a little bit because it's a better feel for what's really been going down, and more importantly, how these price reacts to the MA in a bull trend and or a bear trend. And it's the exact opposite what it was last April. And look at the high we made, 46.25. We began to roll, and then we started to tap all the MAs. We couldn't get above it. The two, the 50, all of them. We're just here. Look at that. Look, 2 days, they slammed them. All right. Pretty much like what you're seeing right here. 4,500 all the way on to 42.55. Okay. This could be the area they're looking for. I don't know. But they already double topped at 42. It's almost it's up 4,300, which is really the gap. So I don't really know. But my point here is you could just see the trend just falling apart. And once we did finally bottom out a little bit come June, the market started to try to bounce back. But look how it failed to two. It had a nice run up, But this is all this was a bear trend rally and right back down. And that's what the MAs provide. It tells you what the big money's doing. This is how they position. This is how they move size. This is where they're saying, you know what, this thing is a little bit overdone, and they take profits and they push it back down. The trend's still down. Lo and behold, you get the follow through by the retail and everybody else. So, and we made the double bottom back down here around 3,600, 35 and change, whatever the case may be. And then we got into the whole big inflation hype and all the involvement with the Fed. And throughout all of this, don't forget you've got looming between Russia and Ukraine, and that's having an impact on the market. But all of this, all these swings of panic, greed, panic, good news, bad news, was just everybody front running every piece of news that was coming from the Fed. And it was just out of control. It was just overhyped. And I think it just got to the point where the market said, we're over it. And you could see how the price finally consolidated and built back above the two. These are unbelievable buying opportunities, by the way. And lo and behold, the market established the next trend, and the bull trend broke out at 41.55. And lo and behold, look at how well it just continued to ride until we broke structure here. So, this is what you want to pay attention to. And whenever the market's aligned with the moving averages, it's amazing opportunities. So, you want to see how this plays out. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Will they continue to roll? The trend's down, but there's going to be unbelievable bounces because there's going to values. The big players are going to come in, are going to buy the value, and that's all there's to it. Same way they come in and they sell the value. When markets are overextended, they sell. Markets are oversold, they buy. That's just the nature of it. And as a trader, you just want to pay attention to this. You're not going to catch every bottom or every top, but you want to see when the momentum's turning and you want to ride the Momo. And the same holds for the Nasdaq. And as they actually filled this gap right here, they left this little gap. And trust me, there are plenty more down here, which kind of concerns me. Is will how much of this market will retrace? I mean, if they really wanted to, and I'm just saying, please don't take my word on this. I there's gaps all the way down to 4,000, from 40.30 or 40.40 down to 4,000. I'm not saying we're going there, but if we challenge it too, most likely we will. But I don't know where this thing is going to find bottom. Panic, the same excitement that drags us up in greed, it reverses and it panics and it pushes. And panic to the downside is way more aggressive than the bullishness going up. And you can just see how everybody's just rolling. And the Nasdaq always leads. And you know what? You can see the results. Here's some of the three of the bigger ones, and you can see Tesla's just getting pounced, and because of their huge presence in China, which is the next looming issue that is going to affect the markets. There's as they go, other countries are going to feel the pain, especially the United States. And, you also have other issues now with the downgrading of the bonds and the banks. And, it's everything, all this stuff has been out there. And once again, this market just priced out everything, said everything's going to be fine. We're just going to keep going. And now, there's cracks in the foundation. And once again, the panic is starting to set in. So let's see how this plays out. Point is there's opportunities for both sides of the market. Take advantage of it. That's what the volatility is all about. That's why we trade. All right, this is just a briefing. Have a great week. We'll see how this plays out. I see anything interesting, I'll be glad to provide it. But this is your take for the week. Pay attention to this 4,300 level. Let's see if they come down and take care of this business early, and we'll see what type of bounces we get off of it. They should be pretty nice. Um, you know, I could extend this and see where this provides us. Once again, you can just see as these MAs come down, they become your resistance. What once was support becomes resistance. So pay attention to that. And you can see all three markets are approaching 100. All right. That's about it, guys. I try to make these videos short, but you know what? It's informative. I hope it's helpful. You got questions, reach out. Be patient. Wait for your opportunities. You don't have to trade everything. Trade the ones that count. Take care.